This video is for all the people that still don't understand how funnel method applies to absolutely everybody. For all the people that think that I'm either playing more time, whatever, I don't care. For all the people that think that it doesn't produce more resources, or for all the people think that I'm trying to say, or for the people that just think I'm trying to say the other way to play the game is wrong. Because that's not what I'm saying. It's just not what I'm saying. It's not. It's not. If you're one of those people who is playing one character, that's fine. I don't give a shit. But you need to acknowledge the truths, and the truths are is that you produce less resources, period. If you were playing 6 characters, you produce less resources, period. And now the only argument somebody can use is the time factor, but the time factor is null fucking void. And the time factor is null void for the simple purpose that I literally just kind of discovered this like last night or the night before because I forgot this math, but somebody gave me the math and it's 100% the fucking truth. It's 100% the truth. If you have, it sucks that I have to now draw this out, but if you have, I might just make a new paint. Let's do this. Alright. If you have one character, right? 1 times 100% non-rest, right? Unrest is the same as... Oh, what the fuck? If you have one character... Oh, and you play it unrested, that gives you 100% of the resources if you do it all the time, right? If you have 6 characters unrested, they get you 100% of the resources, right? If you have 12 characters, or I'm not going to type out part. If you're 12 unrested, this is funny, you have 100% of the resources. Okay, so I'm going to stop typing that. Oh my fucking god. 100% of the resources. But then, if you have one character rested, you get 60% of the resources. If you have 6 characters rested, we're going to do totals now. We're going to do totals because it would be 600%. So I should have put 600% here. So I'm just going to put 600%. And then 1200%. Because that's what it actually would be, right? But this is where it gets kind of interesting. 6 times 60 is 360%. Right? So it's a little bit less than half. A little bit less than half in that. But what is 360% to 100%? It's almost 3 times the amount of resources, right? Almost 3 times the amount of resources. And wait, hold up. It's going to get fun. Don't worry. It'll get fun. Now we're going to do 12 rested, which is 60% of the resources times 12. So we're just going to double that number, which I think would be 720%. Okay. I think. My math could be wrong there, whatever. Somebody wants to stickler me, go for it. But I don't think it is. So 720%. So again, like half of the resources if you were to play all of it. Now we're going to talk about the time frames, though. Playing one character unrested every single day. Okay, if we do 30 minutes per Chaos Dungeon and Guardian, right? Because I'm not going to do... I'm not going to do the raids and all that. Like, yes, that does add an ample amount of time to your stuff, but that's part of the ratio concept. Like, the people in this game play the game wrong. The reason why the game, I believe, is paid wrong is because people play the raids for only gold. And the reality is once you get the set, like a lot of my alts, once I get the set on the alts, I don't really play them in the raids as much. I do if, like, a friend needs help or something. But I don't. Like, the artist isn't going to go do Vicus. Like, I'm not, like, it just, some of the points that some of you guys are pointing out piss me off because they're the dumbest shit. It's coming from people who don't do what I do. That's why it bothers me. Because what we're going to do is we're going to do one character, right? Because it's one character, or, yeah, times a half an hour, times 30 minutes for both Chaos Dungeons and Guardian raids, and that's being humble, right? Times 7. I like the 30-minute window. I know we did it different last time. We did 15 because it was just Guardians, but that's 210 minutes in a week, right? Divided by 60. Gives us 3.5 hours a week, right? So this person's playing their daily 3.5 hours a week. Or, no. Just so I remember I'm putting the hour thing. Now this person's probably going to play double. I'm not, or no, it's 6 times that. Actually, it's probably like 6 times that, yeah. 21 hours a week. So that went up a lot. I'm not going to pretend it didn't. Then we should just kind of double it again, I'm pretty sure. Times 2. Yeah, times 2. So it should be about 42 hours. I'm not going to do the math because it just should be 42 hours. right? Now we're going to go over to the other side of the fence. If you're playing rested at the 60% mark, it means you're playing like 2-3 days a week. And there's somebody who said like, oh, you can't even get 3 days of rest. I've said that in so many of my videos, it's not even funny. You're right. You're right. That's why it's like 2.5. Like you get 2 full days of rest, and then that third day is a half bar rest. And a normal piece of content though. So it's not quite 3 full days of rest, but it's not 2 days of rest either. It's 2.5 days of rest with a half day of regular content. That's why the math is so fucking weird. But I don't care. It doesn't. You don't need to know that. Anyways, we're gonna go off the math of, we'll just say 2 days. No, because I'm not doing 2 days of rest. It's fucking wrong math. You're an ass cunt. I'll do at least 2.5. I'll at least meet you halfway. Playing 3 days a week. Because here's the thing. If we're gonna do only 2 days of rest, and you only play 2 days, and then I don't do the math off 3 days, so I play even less. You fucking monkey. Like that's why that pissed me off so much. The kid's an idiot. Like. But if we're doing it off of 2.5 days of rest, then you have 2.5 days of rest times 60%, right? 60%. Yeah. Happening is you have 30 minutes per character, and then you're playing 3 days a week instead of 7 days a week, right? So that's all we're changing, actually. So, and I'm actually just going to do times 2.5, because that's basically what this kid is fucking saying, right? So you want to be a stickler? I'll be a stickler. 30 times 2.5 is 75, divided by 60 is like 1.5 hours. So that's why it was giving me that. So it's probably 1.5 more accurately, but we're going to put 1.25. So who's playing more? And they're taking a 40% resource loss, right? So this is what's cool, because remember that thing about time that we keep talking about. How I keep pointing out time, and I keep telling you that the time is the most important, and you guys aren't getting it. That time frame that we have, right? Essentially what you're saying with this is that this person's going to play 3.5 hours this week, right? And get 100% of the resources. This person's going to play 1.25 hours in this week and get 60% of the resources and be here at the same time. But then next week, they're going to play less time again, right? And they're going to be caught up already. So by the second week, where this person's at 200%, right? This person here would be like at 200%. This one, the one character non-rested, this person's at 120%. So yeah, they're 80% behind, and it slowly is going to keep snowballing to be more and more gradually. Like it really does happen like that. That's true. But this isn't what I'm telling you to do. I'm not telling you, and as a matter of fact, what I'm going to show you real quick, I have multiple things set up here to tell you how to play one character now, because I'm doing a whole video on this now. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying someone who plays one character needs to utilize rest. As a matter of fact, it's a massive loss, and that's what I'm going to sit here and show you. But this is why you want alts. It's because if you're a fucking adult, like you're all saying, and you're playing in the real world, then what you want is accessible resources. You don't want to have to get on every day to keep up with this fucking agenda. You want to be able to jump on when you can. And if you still don't get that, that sucks. Because like you guys are all saying, oh, you want to play less, but you're not playing less. I am playing less. We're coming up and like, oh, you don't have any level 10 gems yet. Yeah, because I'm spreading it out. I'm using the game's ratio. I'm understanding that we have a allotted amount of time in between things. And I get how to build my account as a team, as a unit, to move up to benefit me the most at each stage of the game. And I'm going to get to that in a minute. Actually, I'm going to say it now before I forget it. But there's another point I wanted to make, was that everybody keeps saying all this crap about the resources and like how you put resources into alts. And that's true. You do put resources into alts. But you need to remember something, that if this is the time frame, right, that you're spending in the game, hold up. Is that visual? Is that visible? If this is the time frame that you're spending in the game, okay, and you spent, you know, I hate that I have to type all this up, but if you spent 80K right here to level up a character, that spent gold is already spent now, therefore that character is returning its value. So even if it takes 8 months to return it, that's perfectly fine. You don't need 80K to level up your fucking main, you morons. You stupid dipshit fucks. Like, this argument is the dumbest fucking argument I've ever heard. Because it just shows how you don't get compound interest. You don't get any of these concepts that I'm trying to preach to you. And this is bad, because this is probably why the world has such a hard time in so many other areas. But, like, it's the truth. This is the truth. You spent the 80K here. Every single fucking day that you play the game and you play that character, this character's returning its value. Even if it's 1K gold a day. Okay, for 80 days, which is like 3 months or whatever. So it's not even that, actually. That's the thing. You're trying to say these characters produce less than 1,000 gold a day in value. Like that, now that I think about it out loud, that doesn't even make any fucking sense. If a con is 4 months out, which is 120 days, right? About 120 days. then that means that you're saying that they produce less than 1,000 gold a day. That doesn't even make any sense. Like, you're the dumbest dumb that there is been and has been and ever will be. Stop. Listen to me and hear it. And if you don't understand it, then ask questions so I can further elaborate it. Because this is fucking math. There's no denying it. And anybody who is denying it is dumb. They're brain damaged. And I'll fucking tell you that. You're dumb. I'm sorry. It's a fact. Anyways, 80k, they're going to return gold every single day. Your character, your main that you're funneling, or whatever the hell it is, the thing that I'm supposedly holding back right now, okay, each day could be given these resources. So you put the 80k in now, and then every day up to a con, you're regaining that gold that you spent into them to put back into the main. So if your main needed 80k, this is, I don't know what the actual numbers are, but if your main needed 80k to get to 15 fucking bajillion, right? Because I don't care about the numbers. They do matter, but they don't matter in the ideology. If you needed 80k to get there, as long as this character that you just took that 80k away from your main is producing 80k within that time period, then every single day that gold is going towards that 80k gold mark. And you may actually hit it sooner than that. That's the part that's the best about this. I'm getting frustrated with this because you guys just aren't getting this. You guys would rather, this is what you would all rather do, you would rather sit on 300k gold this whole fucking period of time. This whole period of time, you would rather sit on 300k gold stagnant in your account, and all of your alts are producing the same amount of resources that entire period of time. Not anymore. There's one argument that a kid made that, like, the value increase isn't enough. And, like, he's got a good point if you're on a 6 main character roster. If you're on a 6 main character roster, the gold amount that you're bringing in at 1475, she said 1460, it's really 75 because nobody's doing Argos. So at 1460 to 1475 range, you can do 3 of your gold raids. You get about 8 to 11k. The total's like, I think 60, 70k versus like 80k take home. So he's right. Like in that sense, it's actually not that bad. So for newer players or rosters of 6, actually he's kind of right. Like there is moments because your gold earner characters are different than non-gold earners, right? And that's why this is a different conversation for people who are doing it on a main 6. But he's kind of right. Like if you have a goal, if your concept is gold, and you're just trying to increase your amount of gold and not resources, like I'm showing with the funnel method, then he's right. You want to park your characters at a state where it's just about the gold for them, right? Where they're making the optimal amount of gold without being tapped further. And that in that regard, the kid was right. But he's not right if you're playing the game for a long period of time and you plan on trying to use funnel method to play the game less. Like, that's where he's wrong. Because he's making gold, like a lot of you, he's making gold the biggest and most important resource in the game. And it's not. It's not. It's like the least important resource. It makes up like a third, or not even a third. It's less than that. It makes up like a fourth, or like a fifth of your total needed resources to get somewhere. And what I mean by total needed resources is if you have a month worth of playtime, you will accumulate in that month, if you play however the hell you play, a ratio of resources from honor shards to leap stones to silver to everything, to reds and blues. Gold is the easiest of those to obtain absent playtime. Like, you guys are fucking dumb, and I don't care, because it's annoying. You're just stupid. But anyways, the point is you'd rather sit on 300k instead of putting that 300k into 3 different characters that will produce that 80k back over that same period of time that you needed the 80k by. You don't need the 80k right now on your main. You don't need it for months. You don't need this right now. You don't need it until you get to that point. So you're sitting on gold and you're sitting on silver and resources that could be gaining each day more resources. So right now, this person here, because you didn't level them up, right, is producing 1 resource a day, right? 1 resource a day. 1 resource a day, 1 resource a day, 1 resource a day. But then if you do this method, they're producing, let's see, 1 resource a day, 1 resource a day. Wait a minute, they're starting to really progress now. Now they're producing 2 resource a day, 2 resource a day, 2 resource a day, 3 resource a day, 3 resource a day. See what I'm saying? It's fucking simple math. That's why I'm using it, I'm explaining it like this. Because the fact that you don't get it is terrifying. Because this isn't just in a game. This is investing in real life. This is your whole life. This is paying bills. This is structuring every fucking thing you do in your goddamn existence. You don't go out and buy $2,000 worth of groceries day 1. But people are getting their characters to 1580 or 1590 and there's no benefit. You don't go out and buy shit that you can't use immediately or eat right now. Like, it's just dumb. It's dumb. It's not only is it stupid, it shows how little you guys actually know about the world. Like, oh my god, is it irritating. This concept is 100% fucking true. You shouldn't be putting value into something 5 months from now. Then you could be putting value into something right now to give you immediate returns. I've already done the math to show how the characters will return the value, first off. So I'm not going to go back into that. But let's just get back onto what we were saying with the time thing. Okay, so now you have 6 characters. Because now I'm ranting, and it's already been an 18-minute video, and this is going to be another long-ass fucking video, because you guys are just dumb, and it's hard to, like, not rant, because you guys are fucking funnel method. they're producing in 7.5 hours 360% of the resources. Now that is less than 6 unrested characters. But what is 360% to 100%? 100%. 360% is 260% more than 100%. And there's going to be people that are like, yeah, but you don't get honor shards, you don't get this, and you don't get this. No, it doesn't matter. It like genuinely doesn't matter. Okay, if you get the honor shards or not on the same character, because you just buy it with gold somewhere else. That's the point. That's like literally the point. If you take the gems, if you took your gems for a week and you sold your gems for a week, that would be the honor shard gap. And I bet you it's actually lopsided as shit. Like, I'll put money on it. That's not even close. Like, you make way more gold than you would need to put deficit wise to get the main up. But either way, with all the shard nerfs and stuff, it's relevant actually too, because it's actually easier than fuck to get your characters to where you need to get them to. But whatever. I'm not even gonna get into that because that's too much detail. The more I get into the details, the more we're gonna have to actually bring up math and show this shit, and I don't want to because the ideology covers itself. The ideology covers itself. So now we're saying I'm playing 12 characters, and remember, I play X characters, not 12. So we're gonna do the exact same thing. It's 1.25 times 12. It's not complicated. It's just not complicated. It's 15 hours worth of playtime. 15 hours worth of playtime. So this person here is playing 15 hours worth of playtime, which is a lot more than 3.5 hours, I'm not going to lie. So 0.7.5 too, actually I lied. So this person's actually playing twice the amount of playtime that this person's playing. So it's not like this isn't more efficient than the person playing 3.5 hours a week. Like, that's what I was trying to say. Like, I can't, if you're playing one character, there's no conversation here where I can say that you're being less efficient, more efficient, or not. You're playing one character. Like, it sucks when those kids make these arguments, because if you're playing legitimately one character on your roster and then telling me how you play less than me, yeah, I'm not surprised. Like, it's that. But you're also not going to keep up just doing your dailies though. You need to go do pirate ship and stuff. So I'd love to make this a more accurate thing where I add time onto all the other shit that you have to do, other than raids, right? Because we all have to do raids. But I'm not going to. That's fair. We'll play it like this, but it's just not a fair argument. It's not a fair argument to say I have one character, because your account will never produce the amount of resources that any of these other accounts produce. Any of these other accounts could just play like half the time. Like, if I played, or you know what? You know what's a good way to explain this? You know what's a great way to explain this, because it's 1.25 hours per rest? Let's do this. 3.5 hours, right? So let's do 3.5 divided by 1.25 to see how many we get. 2.8, give me a break, let's go with 3, so I don't have that funny ass math. Let's do 3 characters is what it's basically trying to say. 3 times 60%. 3 times 60 is 180%, so even that's more. For the same exact amount of playtime, playing 3 characters rested, and that's funny because that was the math that I said back in the day, remember? But the 3 characters rested are producing 80% more resources than the exact same amount of playtime. Like, I don't get how you're not seeing it. So actually, even with one character, I can show you how you could play the game the exact same amount of time and still produce more resources. Like, I just don't know how you guys are arguing this. I'm confuckled because it's basic math. Did any of you pass algebra, geometry? Did any of you guys pass? What was the original math class that we took? What was it, like fractions and numbers or something like that? I'm so confused. I'm so confused. I don't get it. All right, now let's take the 21 hours that the second person plays. 1.25. 16.8. Again, I'm going to round up. I never round up, so you guys can eat a dick. I'm rounding up today. It's 1,000%. Oof. It's 400% more efficient than playing your 6 main characters unrested. Do I have to keep talking about, like, do you know what I mean? Do I have to keep saying it? And granted, they don't produce the exact same amount of resources. Like, that's the thing. The alts don't ever really produce as much as the mains. So there's somebody that could obviously argue that too. But again, I have a fucking spreadsheet from back in the day. I'll pull this off screen for a second. I have a spreadsheet from back in the day that tells you, again, you're wrong. We did the math back in the day. I haven't done it for the new dungeons, but I already know that it's going to follow the same fucking logic. I'm not a jackass. Because I'm not a jackass. Like, I'm not a dipshit. We proved back then that a rested character of 1340 was producing more resources than an unrested 1475 character. That's a pretty big gap, 1340 to 1475. And I'm sure I could prove it again on this level, because I do have some of the data. I don't have all of it. I got the 1540 and the 1560s. So basically, I would put them all at 1540 and see if that produces basically the same as the 1580 dungeons that we're getting. And, like, that's what these kids aren't getting. It's like they think they're right, and they're not. You're so fucking wrong, it's not even funny. Like, it's not even fucking funny how wrong you are. Essentially, this was the math back in the day, too. It was like 21 hours versus 29 hours. It was like 8 hours less playtime, but the resources are just more. but you're just producing more resources. Like, it's not even close. It's not even fucking close, and I don't know why I have to keep having this conversation with people, but anyways, we're going to click out of that. But yeah, I already did the math in the past, so you want to go watch that video, that's fine. I have a video, it's called How Resources Work in Lost Ark. You can go watch it, and you can figure out how resources work in Lost Ark. But let's cut to the chase, because we got 6 more minutes. I'm making this a 30-minute video. I'm not going longer than this today. Like, I'm done with this shit. I'm not done with it, but I'm done re-explaining something that you guys just aren't getting, because you're either being rude, you're being illogical, or you're hung up on the fact that you played the fucking game wrong. I don't care. Because you can have one character and still play the game wrong. You can have as many characters as I have and still play the game wrong. I still play the game wrong sometimes. It's just, it doesn't matter where you are on the spectrum. There's a right way to play the fucking game. It's called to respect the natural order of things, and you're not respecting the natural order of things. Again, if this person's playing one character, they're going to sit stagnant for so fucking long. They're going to sit stagnant for so long. They're going to get their character to the range that they need to get to, and then that's it. They sit. And that's cool, I guess, if you're happy with that. Anyways, now that we've explained that about getting more resources per phase, let's go to the next. One character needs to collect all the daily logins. Like, you have to play everything. You have to do all your content unrested, your pirate ships, your event islands, your raids, your GVG. You need to do it. You need to do everything on one character if you have one character, because it's the only way you really keep up with these other guys. You have to funnel everything into them. All the event materials, everything needs to go into that main character. All right? And you need to play daily. Like, that's actually really true. You need to play somewhat daily. The lowest funnel, only material. So, what is this character? It's got the lowest funnel. The only materials that can be funneled on one character are the event and login rewards. The pros are you play less, which isn't even true, we just proved that, but you play less. The cons are less accessible resources. 2, you play one main, 5 alts. This account needs to play the main unrested. Do every raid daily on main religiously. Do pirate ships and event islands on the main, be funneling all into that one. So all the event stuff, all the pirate ship, all goes into that one main character. Well, the 5 alts do content when you feel like it, if able at all. You need to do the raids for gold. The gold needs to be done. Like, that's the whole point in having this funnel designed, is that you can get more gold. Funnel all the alts resources into the main. The pros are probably the same or around the same, around the same or less playtime than the guy playing one character. And we actually just proved that a roster of 6 can actually produce more resources than the roster of 1 and less playtime by utilizing rest. So it's actually true. The cons. You are most likely going to play the game more. Also, alts cost resources as well, so the main may not progress as fast or as easily. And what we're referring to is this, I'm going to get to it in a minute, is with the stop points. So you can't see that right now, but we'll get to that in a second. And then the third is the 6 mains with X alts, and that is needs to play at least 1 to 3 days a week, all rested. Mains and alts has to do every raid on main 6, or has to do, mains and alts. Has to do the raids on at least the main 6, and that's the truth. Like, I do have to do all of my main raids, but I don't do all the secondaries. Does not do any event islands or pirate ships or anything. Yeah, that's true. So I don't do anything else. I don't do pirate ships. I don't do event islands. I don't do that type of shit because there's no value in it for my account. There's just no value in it for my account. I'm better off going and doing a chaos dungeon or something. That 800 gold that you get from the event island, I can go do 2 chaos dungeons in the time that we wait for the island to spawn, wait for the island event to start, do the island event, and then wait for the resources at the fucking end. I can go do 2 chaos dungeons, produce 1 level 4 gem for 300 gold, go do another 2 chaos dungeons, produce another level 4 gem for gold, and then bam, I'm already at the same fucking point. With a lot of other resources tied to it. Okay, so the alts, you take advantage of rest and only level them when it's convenient. They all funnel in the main 6 characters, and that's true. Like, you don't see me level those characters for tradables. Like, I don't do that. Like, I level them when I can. Or when they cost silver. Pros. This method has the most accessible resources, has multiple styles of play that get the same result. And that's kind of what I'm trying to say, is if I wanted to do all raids, I could do all raids. If I want to do all chaos dungeons, I could do all chaos dungeons, and my account can keep up. I can play however I want to play the game, and you can't. You have to do each piece of content, or you don't keep up. I also have the most accessible resources, which means that at any moment I can sign into the game, and if I want to get one character up, I can take absolutely every piece of resources that I got from all of my characters and just throw it into that character. And that's what I'm going to show today with the gems. Actually, as a matter of fact, we're going to log in, we'll do that. No, I'll wait. I'll make sure that video series is a video series. I'm not going to fuck that up. And the cons. You most likely play the most. But again, I don't know why people are making a big deal about that. If you enjoy playing the game, it shouldn't be a big deal. And if you're comparing it to other people who are elitist and also playing the game like you are, then you're not playing the most. And that's what I'm trying to get at. If you have 2 people at the same state of the game, right? If you have 2 people at the same state of the game, right? and they have exactly what I have for an account and a roster, and they're not capitalizing on funnel method, then they won't be further than me. It's just not possible with less playtime, right? They have to have the same amount of playtime as me. If somebody has 6 characters, right? I'm willing to guarantee maybe one of them's at 1580 or 1590, but not their whole roster. And again, 1580 or 1590, they're not getting any benefits from it. There's no additional resources coming out of that. It's a waste. Whereas my secondary roster is still producing more and more resources as I continuously keep leveling them up. So the cons are that I most likely play more, but not really. Not if you compare me to the other elite players. Like, I have kids on my friends list with like 7,000 hours of playtime, and that's not just one of them. There's a lot of them. There's kids on my friends list with 5,000, 6,000. There's kids with 4,000. There's very few people I know that are like 2,000 or less, and if they are, they have nothing close to an account like mine. I'm sorry. You can pretend that you do, but you don't. You don't. You don't. Maybe you wailed or something too. So there's people out there with the exception. Like, I have a friend that literally RWT'd hard, and I'll just say he wailed hard, who has like maybe 200 hours of fucking playtime on the game, and he's still at eye level with us. But he has one character at eye level with us. One. And then the rest of his roster is sad as shit. Like, and that's not me being mean. I'm just saying that's the truth. Like, they're all like 1200s and like 600s. Like, he's not even out of like tier 2 with some of them. Anyways, now that bullet's been covered, let's go to the next one, which is this one. One character is pink, one main, 5 alts is blue, 6 mains, X alts is green. Okay, so what I'm essentially covering here at the bottom is the stopping points. So when you're going towards your goals, what will happen is you will reach stopping points. The one character roster will have the least amount of stopping points, but they will stay stagnant the longest. So they'll stop here because the content's there, they're already there, and then they're stuck until the next content comes out. And then they'll stop here, and then they're stuck until the next content comes out. And then they stay here, and then they're stuck. So the one with the longest wait times and stagnant periods is actually the person who plays one character, which is good if you're only trying to play a shorter, smaller, or less time of the game. They're kind of right. If you're only trying to play like 1 day a week, and you're not trying to play the game in an excessive amount, like 20 hours a week or something like that, you're only trying to play 10 hours. This actually is what you should be doing, one character, because you're capitalizing on the long, stagnant periods in between. It's true. 2. You have one main, 5 alts. This person's going to have more stop and goes than the main because they're going to stop their main, push their alts. Stop their alt, push their main, stop their alt, main, push their alt. See what I'm saying? So they're going to have stagnant points and stop points as well, but not as many. Or not as long of stagnant points as the main because they have alts to push, right? Then you have what I'm doing. The 6 mains, X alt. You are going to have a bajillion stop and goes, and that's the truth. You are going to constantly be stopping a character and going, stopping a character and going, stopping a character and going, stopping a character and going. But you will never, ever really have stagnant period. You will never have downtime. You will never have a moment where you're not putting resources into something that are then returning resources to you immediately. It just doesn't happen. It will always be an upwards trend in progression. I'm not going to read this out because it's basically what I just said, and I was just putting it there so I could read it. Right? Does that make sense? So if all 3 of these people have a goal in 5 months, and there's X amounts of resources required in 5 months to get there, this first person has to play the game every day. Pretty much. Like, they need to play the game relatively religiously so they can get to this point. Okay, because they need X amount of resources. This person doesn't. This person doesn't need to play it like that to get that X amount of resources that they need daily to reach their goal in 5 months. They don't have to play as much. They don't. They can take advantage of the rest. They can play a couple days a week. They don't. They have 6 characters. They can take all the goals from those other characters and funnel it into one. This person is a combination of the both. This person not only has to play the game semi-religiously, because I play like 12-hour days on my days that I play, right? But they also get to play like the secondary character. So they also play like this person. So these two, they're basically a cross between these two. So these 2 play styles is basically this play style in one. You capitalize on rest, you play very little, but like the first person, you're playing kind of religiously. You have to kind of play a little bit religiously to hit these goals. And that's it. That's all I'm going to explain. It's been a 30-minute video, 34-minute video. Like, I can't keep doing it. Like, this is... I don't know how the fuck you guys don't get it yet. Like, anybody that comments on this video and still doesn't understand it, I'm sorry, but I might just call you stupid. Like, I actually might, so beware if you comment, because I might actually just call you dumb at this point. Like, you just don't get it, and it's crazy. Especially because this is such a good explanation of it right here. Saying that, like, basically what I'm trying to tell you here is that you can save the 80k that you need for that character later, and hold on to it, or you can put it into a character right now that you're going to be playing anyways right now that will then produce the resources. I guess what I'm trying to show is that putting this 80k in here doesn't actually hurt the 80k later. If anything, it only helps it. And that's it. That's it. I'm done. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Another Evolved Mentalities. I'm sorry that some of these videos are long, but like, how the fuck am I supposed to make these things short and simplify it for you guys when you guys are actually making, you guys are saying good things. There's good questions. And you guys are making this really amazing for me, actually, because it's allowing me to elaborate on it in a way I never really thought about elaborating on it. I just kind of understood that it was true. But now you're helping me refine it and even make it better for myself. It's just, you don't know what the fuck you're talking about. And there's blatant math telling you you're wrong. And then you're still coming, you guys are just, you get making up more and more shit. Like, oh, now you play all your raids, and so that's going to add time to it too. And it's unlikely that you play 20 hours and less than 10 hours a week. And yeah, you're right. You're right. But you're wrong, because I didn't have to do everything I did with the Guardians. Like, so the streams are like 12-hour days, but they're really not. Like, I don't do that. That's what I was saying. I don't even do the Guardians. I do it when I need them, when I need the accessible resources. That's what I'm trying to say. It fucking sucks. It sucks because you guys really just don't get it. And I can tell because you're pointing out things that only aid my point. Like, you're pointing things out that either are null void, right? Because if you listen to what I'm saying, you wouldn't say that. Or two, you're pointing out things that are actually telling you that I'm correct, like, and you're just not seeing it, like, and that's horrifying. I'm not saying making more characters is the right way to go. I'm telling you that understanding your funnel, your income, your goals, and your ratio is very important. It's very important. That's what I'm telling you, is that each individual account has it. And then somebody pointed out in the last comments that it's a scalable concept. And yeah, that's exactly what I'm saying, is that the more alts you have, the less that you have to play, because you can capitalize on rest. That's it, though. Thank you, guys. I'll catch you in the next one.
Let's go. Public enemy, number one. When we mobbing, trouble in the streets, here we come. With this riding. Public enemy, number one. And we mobbing. Bring it along. Mayday, mayday, mayday. Trouble on the way. I want my revenge. Welcome to the payday. Hungry for destruction, crazy for the cray-cray. Better clear the exits, make a way to vacate. Ready to rage a riot, I wanna raise a silence, yeah. Flipping the stage in 5 minutes with being a silent, yeah. They wanna make us quiet, breaking the cage of silence, yeah. They wanna make compliance, we gon' restrict the fire, yeah. Time to write a new code, let's let the rules go. Show them why they name us, public enemy, Uno. Yeah, they say we ruthless, we savage. Yeah, there's a method to the madness. Yeah, they say we psycho, the baddest. There's a method to the madness. 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 Yeah, but there's a method to the madness. We gon' do it our way, never needed the kudos. Kill 'em with the chaos, only way that we do know. Lawless and ruthless, that's a dynamic duo. That we get the job done while you running your food hole.